For all the flesh-munching, shotgun-blasting chaos in George A. Romero's zombie films, the real mystery that still keeps fans debating is this: what actually caused the outbreak? Was it the mysterious satellite mentioned in Night of the Living Dead? Or was it something more symbolic, a kind of divine punishment for humanity's sins? Let's start with the satellite theory, because that's the only concrete explanation we ever really get, and even then, it's presented with deliberate ambiguity. In Night of the Living Dead, 1968, there's a moment when TV newscasters speculate that a returning space probe from Venus might have brought some kind of radiation back to Earth. The government shoots the satellite down, but shortly after, the dead begin to rise. It's a clear nod to Cold War anxiety. Science gone too far, unintended consequences from meddling with nature, and the ever-present fear of nuclear fallout. But Romero never confirms this as the true cause. In fact, he seems more interested in using it as a red herring. The suggestion of radiation is almost throwaway, a background detail mentioned once and never followed up on. That ambiguity is part of what makes Romero's world so unsettling. The horror doesn't come from understanding the outbreak, it comes from not understanding it. Now contrast that with the more existential, even theological tone of Day of the Dead, 1985. By this point in the series, the zombies had become more than just physical threats. They're symbols. Symbols of societal decay, moral collapse, and humanity's inability to change. Characters reflect on what the outbreak means, not just what caused it. There's a haunting suggestion that the dead are simply the natural consequence of who we've become. When Dr. Logan says, "they're us," it's not just a metaphor, it's an indictment. The zombies may be mindless, but the living are violent, paranoid, and self-destructive. If this is divine punishment, it's one we earned. There's further weight to this idea in Day of the Dead, when John, the helicopter pilot, delivers one of the film's most striking lines. "We're being punished by the Creator. He visited a curse on us, so that man could look at what hell was like." It's not just poetic dialogue, it reflects a broader worldview presented in the film, one where the outbreak is interpreted as divine retribution. This moment crystallizes the idea that humanity's own choices, war, greed, disconnection from nature and each other, have brought about their undoing. The outbreak, in this view, isn't random or scientific, but a kind of forced reckoning. That notion isn't entirely new either. It's subtly echoed in Dawn of the Dead, where the survivors hole up in a shopping mall, a literal temple of consumerism, while the undead return to it out of instinct, as if drawn to the remnants of the world they once worshipped. Both films point to the same conclusion, that perhaps the end of the world didn't happen to us, but because of us. There's even further biblical imagery baked right in. The dead rising from their graves? That's straight out of Revelation. The idea that some greater force, whether God, nature, or karma, is pressing the reset button isn't so far-fetched in Romero's bleak vision. And unlike the neat, scientific theory of radiation, the punishment from God idea lingers. It speaks to something deeper, something moral, something we can't solve with a bullet to the head. So which is it? Satellite or judgment? Honestly, Romero never gives us a definitive answer, and that's exactly the point. He wasn't interested in writing origin stories, he was writing warnings. Whether the dead rose because of cosmic radiation or because humanity had rotted from the inside out, the result is the same. Society collapses, the worst in people rises to the surface, and the true threat isn't the zombies, it's us,